Alabama is different from South Alabama. They have different ideas on things. They have even different ideas on politics, believe it or not. But it's interesting to go around and meet the great people that we have in this state. The state of Alabama, we give more money per capita than anybody else to our charities. And you know, that makes me proud. I mean, we don't have a lot of money compared to some of the other states, but we give. We serve in the military. We love our nation. We love this country. Alabamians love this country, and that makes me proud to be a military veteran myself, but also it makes me proud of the people of this state who believe in freedom and are willing to stand up for that and serve our military. But as I crossed this state, the thing that struck me the most was the concern that people had for our economy, for jobs. You know, we could talk about a lot of things as we cross this state, but jobs was number one. In 1992, when Bill Clinton ran, he ran on that. Some of his people came up to him. They wrote, and I didn't vote for Clinton, by the way, but I can tell you he did say something smart. He said, "It is the economy, stupid." And that's what I campaigned on. We could talk about a lot of things, but putting bread on the table and feeding your family is the most important. And you have to do that first. And that's what people were interested in. They were interested in hearing how we were going to create jobs for this state. Even at the present time, we have approximately 9% of our people that are unemployed at the present time. We probably have 20% who are underemployed. In that 46-page plan that Dow just talked about a while ago, I did lay out an environment through which we can create jobs, keeping Alabama a right-to-work state because it's in our Constitution, but doing that and promoting that across the country to that states that don't have that are not right-to-work states. It's very important that we stay that we know that people can come, and that's why companies actually do come to Alabama, believe it or not. They're not going to come here if that's not the case. So that's number one. Number two, having well-trained workers. I would like to commend our two-year college system. They have done an excellent job and continue to do an excellent job. AIDT, ATN, but all of our two-year systems, they do an excellent job in training workers, and we need to give them credit for doing that. Our four-year systems, they do the same thing. They work with us on training people. Well-trained workers is essential if we're going to recruit industry into this state. We also need to keep the cost of doing business low. That's why Charles McCrary keeps the cost of energy low. Isn't that right, Charles?
Yes, sir.
Keeping the cost of energy low. Keeping taxes low. That's very important. You know, we want more money, but let me tell you, when you keep the cost of energy low, keep taxes low, keep an environment in this state, you can recruit industry. But one of the most important things, and one of the things that I'm very interested in, is infrastructure. I think that's very vital, that we create the type of infrastructure in this state that will recruit industry. You have to have the proper infrastructure. We have already chosen our Department of Transportation. I want a new attitude in government in Montgomery, and it's going to start with the governor. The other day I spoke to a group of road builders and Department of Transportation workers. They were all there together. And I looked around and I talked to the Department of Transportation workers, and I said, I want to tell you all I'm proud of you. You work for the state, and I'm proud of your work. But I also want to tell you this. There's a new attitude coming. I'm going to work hard, and you're going to work hard. And that's what I think that we need to expect out of government. We need to remember that the consumers of government and the customers of government are the taxpayers, and also companies who are willing to hire people and create jobs. And every agency that I appoint a head for that has any influence over the creation of jobs, I tell them, like the Department of Conservation, the Department of Transportation, ADO, any of these, I tell them that our number one priority is to create jobs. And I want them to know that. I want them to think like that. And there are ways that we can do that in this state. Birmingham has had some difficulties over the last, not just Birmingham, it's really been Jefferson County, has had some difficulties over the last few years because of some problems that affect them every day. One of those problems deals with this sewer debt that we're going to have to be able to solve. It is an albatross around the neck of this county, and that has to be solved. Just recently, the occupational tax situation has cropped up again. We thought that we had solved that in the legislature in the last session, but now we find out maybe we didn't solve it. But I want to commit to you that those problems are not insurmountable. And I think that we need to give the new leadership that has come into effect, those that have been elected, we need to give them the opportunity to solve those problems. But I want to tell you this, as governor, I will be there with you, and I will help you. And if you need me for anything, I will be there. We will help solve these problems that hamper this area. Those are two problems that I think that we must solve. Infrastructure in this area is very important. I stood before a group during the campaign and I made a commitment on Highway 280. And again, let me tell you that I commit to you that we are going to solve that problem. Now, there may be differences of opinion on how we solve that problem. But we are going to look at all the plans. We're going to look at all the solutions. And one of the things that I'm going to do as governor is I'm going to make decisions. And I'm going to decide. And when I decide, you may not always agree with it. But let me tell you, you can study things to death. And so at some point, somebody has to make a decision. I have been elected as the governor of the state of Alabama to make decisions. And I want to give you my promise that I'm going to make decisions. Now, like I say, you may not always agree with me, but I'm going to look at all the issues. I'm going to look at the different designs, all this, but at some point we're going to make a decision and we're going to solve the problem. Now, the Northern Beltway is another situation that we need to work on. We're going to get started on that. I think that's vital for the northern part of this county, and that affects all of you smaller towns up in that area. We're going to work on that. I met the other day with Senator Shelby and the other Senator Sessions and then all of our delegation. We talked about that, and I think that's something that we need to begin working on quickly. So those are things in this area that I am very interested in. Now, long term, we even need to look at issues like mass transit. I got in trouble in one of my speeches when I said that Birmingham was not a mass transit city. What I meant was today it's not. That doesn't mean that we don't look to the future. We need to always look to the future because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I've learned how to text. My 13-year-old granddaughter taught me how to do it. We don't know what is going to be needed 20 years down the road, but we need to be willing to look to the future and be willing to look